So today I was talking to one of my friends about active listening, and he said, you should do one of those success Saturdays on this. Well, not to be one to argue with my BFF or one of my BFFs, I thought, why not? And the basis to why you want to give active listening a try is that truly no one cares what you know until they know that you care. Okay, so I'm Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success Seminars, where for over 40 years, we've been giving people around the world knowledge and tools to live their ultimate lives. So, if anyone had asked me my opinion, I would never have called it active listening. Active listening is truly, okay, this is active listening. Yeah, I'm listening. No, I'm totally listening. I'm totally listening. Oh, shoot. No, you just said that Bob went to the grocery store. I'm listening. Okay, that's active listening. All right. I was active during that. I was really active during that. I'd actually prefer to call it engaged listening or sincere listening, because the highest compliment you could give anyone, the best way to show them that you really care, is by letting them know that there is nothing more important than what they have to say. So, to be a good listener, you need to make a conscious effort. And engaged listening involves more than just listening. In fact, listening is just the beginning. What's really important is how you make people feel. As Maya Angelou once famously said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And when you do the things I'm about to share, you will make them feel like they are the most important person in the entire world, which they are. Okay, so here's what you need to do to be a good and sincere listener. Number one, know that that person in front of you is, in fact, the most important person in the world. The person standing in front of you at any given moment is always the most important person in the world and deserves to be treated that way. I mean, they're the most important person to them, right? And I always say that God, the creator, the God of your understanding, needs us to do his, her work on earth. And that includes having each of his, her children feel loved and cherished. And if you do God's work, then God will do yours. So if you're at a networking event and you're talking to someone and out of the corner of your eye, you see the person who you really wanted to get a book endorsement from, and the person in front of you is pouring their heart out to you, know that if you treat that person in front of you with all of the sincere attention that they deserve, you're doing God's work. And the creator will organize for you to interact with that person at the perfect time, or someone better. Okay, number two, use body language that says, I so want to hear what you have to say. In other words, lean in, but not too close. You don't want to invade their personal space. You know how that can go. And you can even do this on Zoom. It's the difference between listening to somebody talking to you on Zoom like this, or leaning in to somebody who's talking to you on Zoom like this. Okay. And speaking of the wow, use appropriate facial gestures, mirroring their expressions. There's nothing that says, I'm listening, more than a look of true concern when they're concerned, or a big smile when they're smiling, and nothing that says, my mind is somewhere else, more than when you're grinning as they're telling you the story of how their dog died. Okay. We've all been there. Also, appropriately use sounds like, huh, wow, yikes, ouch. But do it too much and it becomes distracting. If you keep saying, yeah, I agree, yeah, oh my gosh, it can get so annoying. So it's better to nod and keep an I agree look on your face, okay? But they have the talking stick. So an I agree look is something like this. That's an I agree kind of look on your face, okay? And then when they're done, then you can say, "Can I tell you why I agree with you?" Or "I so agree with you. I want to tell you why." All right? Okay, next. Be neutral and not judgmental, especially early in the conversation. For example, if somebody says something like, "I'm a fiscal conservative," and the word conservative just trips your wire, be patient. Don't jump in as soon as they say, "Well, I'm actually a fiscal and conservative." Don't go, "Insurrection, voter suppression." Just like calm down. Patience is the name of the game. Give someone time to express their opinion fully before you jump in. And of course, everyone knows you should not interrupt. Your mom told you that at the dinner table in 1972. But also, don't jump in as soon as someone takes a breath. Pause before you comment to make sure that they're, in fact, done with their thought. Not everyone speaks or thinks as quickly as you do. Okay. And don't listen with that energy that is so obvious that you're planning what you're going to say next. Okay. Like as soon as you get that space, you're going to jump right in. Okay. Here's what that looks like. Like, they know all you want to do is jump in and you're not really listening to what they're going to say. So breathe, just calm down, do a few breaths. I've taught you some breaths, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Next, never, ever one up someone's story, especially if you're in a little gaggle or, like two or three people, okay, three or four people. If you want to share a story, let there be a very significant pause before you do. True story. My friend was telling a story about adopting a three-legged rescue dog. And you could tell that it was something really important to him. He shared from his heart how no one had wanted this dog and they were going to put him to sleep. And he was, a big dog, but he was like all skin and bones, and how he and his husband adopted him and got him this wagon. And he's telling this really heartfelt felt story. And as soon as he barely took a breath, someone in our little gaggle jumped right in, took the attention immediately away from my friend and said, "Well, I had a friend who adopted a two-legged dog." And they built him this little wagon for his hind legs, and he was the happiest dog, and he didn't even know that he just had two legs, and on and on and on. It was so weird. It was so uncomfortable. Don't be that person. One of the things you've heard me talk about is relationship capital. Okay. And relationship capital is how to have somebody like you and appreciate you so much that they're going to want to do something back for you. That is not how to grow relationship capital. That is how not to grow relationship capital. And speaking of relationship capital, as long as we're here, being a good listener is all about that. It's about winning friends and influencing people. The truth is that each of us wants to be liked and loved and thought well of. Each of us wants to win friends and influence people. I remember I was talking to someone not that long ago about why we support each other in business. And I said, I love Ralph, but let's face it, we all support each other because there's something in it for us. And one woman said, "Oh, well, maybe you do it because there's something in it for you, but I do it just because I like doing things for people." Nice idea, not possible for us mortals. Unless you're some enlightened saint, you only do things that bring you some reward, even if the reward is just an uptick in the happiness scale or the joy that you feel in your heart. And doing all these things that I'm sharing with you about active listening will bring you that uptick in your happiness. Okay, next, ask questions. Good ones are asking for clarification because that means you were listening. Did you end up staying with that company or did you leave? Or did your kid end up buying that car? Or were you able to get out of that verbal agreement? And if you really want to go deep when appropriate, ask the person, Wow, how did that make you feel? How did it make you feel when you decided to leave the job and disappoint all of your coworkers? Okay. So instead of saying, like, oh, wow, that's too bad you weren't chosen, how did that make you feel when you weren't chosen? Probably no one else has asked them to share their feelings of, or how they felt. So now you have some good relationship capital in the bank with that person because you were giving them a space to say how they felt, feel. Anyway, and of course, the classic active listening technique is what is commonly called reflection or repeating back what you just heard. So you can either repeat back exactly what the person just said. So you decided you were never going to go to an outside concert again, right? But the classic reflection technique is paraphrasing, which is showing that you're really listening. And also you want to make sure that you understand what they were just saying. So it would be more like something, so you're saying that after that rain experience and that stage collapsing and then what happened, that the horrible shootings in Las Vegas, you just did not feel it was something you wanted to do anymore, to go to outside concerts, no matter how much you love music, right? And usually the answer will be, yeah, they'll be just so thrilled that you remembered everything that they said. But here's a little caveat. Don't add to the speaker's meaning what you assume that they're experiencing. In other words, don't tack on at the end, and you're probably really sad about that. Unless that's what they said, unless they said, I'm really sad about it. You can ask them how they felt about it, but don't assume, because you could be dead wrong. And it doesn't feel good if someone tells you what you're feeling. Okay. A lot of people get defensive over that. No, I wasn't sad. I was actually relieved. But some people are like, no, I wasn't sad. Okay. So another point, don't give advice unless you are asked. The worst thing you could do as a sincere listener ever, especially when you're talking to your kids, is give advice. I always ask permission to give advice, especially to my children. I say, is it okay if I give you some advice about that? Because I did have a similar experience a couple years ago. And the answer might be no, especially with your kids. And just trust that it's okay. They're going to be fine without you telling them how you had that similar experience. They will live without your advice. In fact, they'll figure it out themselves. And finally, if you want to win friends and influence people, resist the temptation to make it all about you. You can say, can I share my thoughts on that? Or would you like to hear my similar experience? But again, we're talking about how to win friends and influence people and build relationship capital. And the way to do that is not to try to impress someone by how great you are, but by encouraging someone to speak about their favorite subject, which is themselves and their life experiences, and maybe even how great they are. So give it a try, and I bet you will have some fabulous experiences, which you could share in the comments beneath this video. And if you are enjoying these Success Saturday messages, be sure to go to yes2success.com, because I'm offering my free ebook. I realize I never told you about this before. And when you download it, you'll get information about some free live webinars I'm offering. And I'm actually teaching a live Yes to Success 10-week program coming up. So if you really want to go deep into the knowledge that I share, which you have experienced the tip of the iceberg, I would love for you to join my 10-week Yes to Success course. So go to yes2success.com. It would be so amazing to meet you. And I send you my love. As always, happy listening.